You just got $1 trillion.
A trilly?
Not a million, not a billion, a trillion.
A trillion.
But there's a catch.
What's the
You
catch?
need to spend all of it in the next 24 hours, or you lose everything.
Damn.
This should be easy. First, you need a new car.
Okay. You got to spend it in 24 hours or you lose everything. So that must mean, I'm assuming, you're going to lose everything you bought and the money that you didn't spend if you don't spend this entire $1 trillion in one day. My question is, do I get to start at 12 a.m. midnight, or do I got to, like, do it start when I wake up? Because I'm starting at midnight and we just going to go. We just going to go.
Go to your local exotic dealership and buy yourself a Lambo and a Ferrari
Nah.
and a McLaren. You know what? Just buy up the entire dealership. Now you have the $12 million garage of your dreams. But there's one small problem. In order to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours, you would need to buy out that entire dealership every single second. You need to think bigger. Let's hire 100 people to track down the 100 most expensive yachts and buy them for us. And let's throw in
I don't want no yachts. That's just a stupid expense.
$40 billion check, but let's also buy the biggest cruise ship of all time for $2 billion and fill it up to maximum capacity, paying for everyone's tickets and tossing in a Rolex too. Let's make use of this ship's basketball court by buying up every single NBA team and having them battle it out. Then let's get Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce to perform for us before sending them off to the International Space Station on a SpaceX rocket that costs $55 million per passenger. Now that you're hanging with rich people, you need a status symbol. You could buy the world's most expensive art piece for $500 million, but why would you do that when you could just buy the entire Metropolitan Museum of Art?
You can't buy a museum, bro.
Transaction failed.
You can't buy a
No way,
museum.
we're already out of money. Yeah, we still have $800 billion. The Metropolitan Museum is an educational institution whose assets are held for the public benefit and are not owned by... You know what? Forget about the Met. The entirety of New York City is worth around 1.3 trillion. There are currently
We could own New York.
33,210 vacant units available, so let's hire 33,000 people to snatch those up for us. And of course, throw in a 100K commission. But here's something you need to think about. The most expensive real estate purchase in US history was this $240 million concrete brick. That might sound like a lot of money, but you spending $240 million is like an average person spending $60. I think instead of buying houses, you should build a mega project. The sky
Definitely.
is truly your limit. You can build your project wherever you want. If there's people in the way,
But these are things that take time, gang. You can't just say, okay, I want to build some shit today, and people gonna just start moving today, and you gonna be able to pay today. Numbers got to be talked about. Pay has to be discussed. Location has to be. They're gonna have to. What's it called? Make sure that wherever the landscaping is, that is, you know, gonna be on some solid property. It's not sinking. It's not on top of gas lines and all that type of shit. But a lot's gonna go into this 24 hours, gang.
buy them out with your pocket change. Or maybe try the Saudi Arabia method and relocate them into a graveyard. Actually,
That's it.
I think the Middle East is exactly where we need to go. So let's buy one Gulfstream G650 for each day of the year and fly across the world.
I wouldn't even buy a jet unless I have plans to where it's gonna cause me to have to travel from place to place to place. I'm thinking in my head, gang, the first thing I'm doing is looking out for people, right? Where are people at majority of the time nowadays? I would say a lot of people are on TikTok Live. I mean, obviously that's not the number one place, but a lot of people are on TikTok Live. So I'm buying $1 billion worth of coins on TikTok Live to donate to people, to, you know, support people, to look out for people. $1 billion, that ain't shit in compared to $1 trillion.
Welcome to the Arabian Peninsula, where people will build literally anything. The world's biggest picture frame, the world's largest clock, the massivest cube, the tallest structure ever, man-made sinking islands shaped after the world map from memory. These are cool. Let's build an even bigger artificial island for 20 billion. Of course, we can't forget about labor cost, so for that, let's budget in $10. Then let's buy every single one of those mega projects I just showed you for a total donation of $101,292,000,000 and $10 to our Middle Eastern boys. But while you're here, take a look at the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building in the world. If you were to stack $1 bills to the very top, the tower would be worth $7.58 million. You still need to spend 87,000 times that. A stack so high it would go past the International Space Station.
Hey, Katie.
If you ever want to spend this money, you need to stop thinking in real estate and start thinking in 51st state. Do you see where I'm going with this? Buy a country. In 2010, the country of Liechtenstein put itself on Airbnb at 70 grand a night. This is literally nothing. You can't be looking at countries hoeing themselves out for pennies. You need the ultimate prize. Somewhere.
Fuck it, we buying countries then.
Somewhere strategic. Let's buy Greenland. Based on the market price of its mineral reserves, the world's biggest island has a price tag of around 200 billion. We can afford that. But there's one small thing in our way. During Trump's first term, when he proposed the conquest of Greenland, the country dismissed the idea as completely ridiculous and firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale. Huh.
Okay. Alright.
Let's buy an F-35 for $80 million.
Damn.
Fuck it. 2 F-35s.
2 of them boys.
3. 10,
3,
100, 2
100
aircraft carriers, 3 destroyer ships, 1 ballistic missile submarine,
ballistic missile submarine,
Blackwater soldiers, 1 for every citizen of Greenland. Now we have a $50 billion makeshift military, and it looks like Greenland's for sale after all. But by this point in your trillionaire spending
because if they not for sale, we gonna tear their ass down.
Your exploits might not have hit TikTok yet, but rumblings are beginning behind closed governmental doors. Luckily for you, there's not much politicians can say once you own them. Buy a politician. We got Trump here for $1.5 billion. Kamala is almost $2 billion, but you do get a free Joe Biden. Let's buy up both of those and every sitting member of the Senate and House for a grand total of $7.2 billion for the entirety of American politics. This is a great deal, but there's a catch. Money influences politics, but it doesn't always decide it. I mean, look at the presidential race. Democrats outspent Republicans and still lost because $2 billion can't buy aura. More recently, Elon dropped millions of dollars campaigning for an election in Wisconsin, only to find out that shit no longer works when everyone hates you. Even BlackRock doesn't always get what they want.
BlackRock, we know them.
$1 trillion gives you access to almost everything. But culture and public perception are things that are not for sale.
What?
Just kidding. Let's buy every single media company. The Washington Post, Time Magazine,
I was
New York
about to say,
Times,
boy.
Comcast, Fox. Global ad spend for an entire year is around $1 trillion. That averages to $3 billion a day. So let's run 1 week straight of propaganda and we should be good. But if you're still getting heat, there's one final method you can use. A donation a day keeps the guillotine away.
100%. I told y'all.
There are a lot of causes
You gotta start looking out for
you should
people.
start off with the people most in need. The US government. America is currently $36 trillion broker than a homeless person. That number is increasing by $2 trillion a year. Luckily, we now have you. $220 billion honestly isn't gonna do much, but it's definitely gonna help. Assuming, of course, that the US government efficiently...
I'm not donating a damn thing to this country's debt. I'm not doing that. Hell no.
Manages a $250 billion cash injection. You might be wondering how you're gonna send the money. And the answer is pay.gov, an official website where you can make donations to the US government to reduce the public debt. So let's just enter in your $220 billion right here and... Well, turns out the maximum amount the Treasury accepts is only $1 million. You just bought the government a bag of screws from Lockheed Martin. Maybe
Congratulations.
Your money would put a bigger dent into medical debt. See, unlike the government, broke people dying of cancer aren't allowed to print more money to pay off their crippling obligations. Instead, their unpaid debts get sold off to collections for pennies on the dollar. But because of this discount, charities like Undo Medical Debt can erase $100 worth of debt for every $1 donation they receive. And with that ratio, you could wipe out all the medical debt in the US for just $2.2 billion. But what about world hunger?
Now that right there, we can wipe out the medical debt for sure. I'm wiping out medical debt, student debt, and I'm definitely ending world hunger. But this is my thing with ending world hunger. How long after I've ended it is it going to start back up? When is, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how long after I've ended world hunger is world hunger going to start back up?
The UN estimated it would take 40 billion each year to end world hunger by 2030.
So by 2030, 40 billion a year. We're including 2025. That's 40. That's 80 in 2026. That's 120 in 2027. That's 160 in 2028. That's 200 come 2029, and then $240 billion come 2030. So it's like, even after you spend $240 billion to end world hunger just like that, when does it start piling back up? When does world hunger start getting back crazy?
We could afford that. Next, how about we help out malnourished and starving college students? Student loan debt in the US totals $1.777 trillion, with the government loaning out $87.2 billion a year.
Okay, so I'll take back what I said about ending student debt, because I just thought about it. People going to college every year, every semester. That debt ain't never gonna go down. It's just, even after you pay it off or put a flock of money into it, it's just gonna add back up, because there's people going in debt every year in college. So I guess I wouldn't do that. I guess what I would do is take care of my alma mater, which is the great Central Michigan University. I will go ahead and end people's student debt from there. Lord knows that it shouldn't be over $100 million. It shouldn't even be close to that.
But before we try to attack this, there's a slight problem. Once universities catch wind that trillionaire Jesus is bailing out their victims, they'll probably just jack up their prices. On top of that, paying off loans might be seen as unfair to older generations who had to pay their way through college and pick themselves up by their
That ain't got shit to do with us.
Turns out philanthropy isn't as easy as it seems.
It's not easy. Building Amazon was not easy. Philanthropy is very similar. It's really hard.
I agree with Jeff here. Let's just buy another $500 million yacht. That's enough philanthropy for today. You still have $60 billion left, and I think I know how to spend it.
After I've helped everybody out, helped myself a tad bit, this is when I'm gonna help myself even more, because I've already looked out for people at this point. So is it 60 billion? Yeah, that's $60 billion. Something I can do within 24 hours with $60 billion. Because I probably would only have a couple hours left after I'd done all that other shit. I'm putting $20 billion into my 401k. Actually, I'm gonna put the whole thing into my 401k, because then I could pull from my 401k. I'm gonna get penalized for it, but getting penalized on all that, bro, I'm not even tripping on it. Or if it's possible, I would put it into an account that grows every year, so where I could just live off the interest every year, because you're not spending $1 billion a year. I don't care who you are, unless you're crazy ass. You know what I'm saying? Realistically, if you're that rich, you're probably spending maybe like actual spending a day with no business. Like, you don't own any business, you have no employees. I would say you're probably spending $500 a day, maybe, probably not, because that's still, that's still crazy. What are you spending $500 on a day? As a regular human being with no jet, you don't have an airplane, you drive every day, you got your regular life, bro, you're not even spending $200 a day unless you're shopping every day, right? You grocery shop once a week or twice or once every 2 weeks. And that's once every 14 days. So every day, bro, I'm gonna just be honest, bro, I'm not spending more than, I'm gonna eat good. Oh, you best believe I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna eat real good. I'm gonna have a nutritionist at that point. A chef, yeah. A trainer, yes. But that's not a daily expense. That's more so like they get paid every week on a specific day or once every 2 weeks. Especially if they're your personal chef, like you have them on contract. Gang, I'm just being bluntly honest. Probably spend like, I'm gonna eat good, so it's probably, Jesus Christ, I don't even know, because you're not even gassing your car up every day. On a daily basis, you probably spending, and I don't smoke weed, so I'm not buying weed every day. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink alcohol every day. Bro, I don't even think I would be spending more than $50 a day, if that, because that's even crazy. Like $50 a day, gang. What are you spending $50 a day on? Like, what are you doing? Like making parlays? I guess maybe, yeah, maybe I do like to make parlays, but I got a limit on my apps, so I wouldn't be spending more than $10 a day on gambling, and that's just you know, just for shits and giggles. That's not even something I take serious. But yeah, gang, I still wouldn't be touching $50 a day. That's crazy.
It might be semi-cheating, but hear me out. 37% of Americans can't afford an unexpected purchase over $400. Being a trillionaire, your passive income earns you $400 every 0.126 seconds. The median net worth under 35 is $39,000. As a trillionaire, you could exchange your toilet paper with rolls of $39,000 bills for your entire lifetime, and it wouldn't put a dent in your finances.
That's
$1
crazy.
trillion gives you horizons incomprehensible to the normal paycheck-to-paycheck living human. Even after your spending spree, you still have so much money left that it gives you too many options. You could launch space programs, clean up the ocean, fund institutions.
In one day?
24 hours just isn't enough time
In one
for
day,
this
gang.
much fun. So let's buy more time. Make yourself a trust and safely store your money in it. Now, all of those humanity-shifting endeavors, you can sleep on them. On the world's most expensive bed.
Definitely make a trust, for sure. Definitely. Definitely get a trust. Yeah. Hell yeah. Forever. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That would make more sense.